Hey, gorgeous Pisces, and welcome to May 2021. A really, really powerful month. I'm feeling a little happiness because I just looked out my window and there's this beautiful blackbird with the most gorgeous song that I just saw fly by the window, and I'd been wondering. I hadn't seen a blackbird for a few days, so I don't know. Just thought I would share that. It makes me happy. I love the blackbird song. It is so beautiful. Anyway, let's talk about May. May is really powerful. And one of the big things that's happening with it this month, and this really ties to you guys, is Jupiter is moving into your sign. Jupiter is going to be here for a few months before moving back into Aquarius for the end of 2021. And then at the very beginning of 2022, Jupiter is coming back to meet you guys. So this is a little preview of some of the energy you're going to be working with in 2022. Jupiter is a really fun planet to have in your sign. Obviously, he's the expansive planet. So wherever he is, he expands that energy. So in general, Piscean energy is going to be more prominent for everyone. That'll be fun for you guys, I think. I think you'll enjoy the fact that everybody is going to have to join your bandwagon a little bit and hang out in some Piscean energy and do that work. But that's happening on May 13th. Jupiter is coming into your sign, and I really love this because I think it will amplify what I've been talking about really since, I don't know, December or something. I've been repeatedly saying to you guys that it's so important to utilize your innate skills, like the things that come with having Piscean energy, which has to do with being able to see and do from behind the scenes, to trust and flow in a way that is quite countercultural to our much more do A and B and keep going through Z and just forge forward and be competitive and just be focused on goals and have everything be about the exterior, right? And like how it can be challenging to trust yourself when all the external messages around you are telling you that the only way to success is by doing these other things that have to do with moving around a lot and being busy all the time. And it's like, and you get told that like dreaming and resting and listening to soul is a waste of time and is just empty and makes you valueless, right? It's like, and I've been talking a lot about that. And for me, this Jupiter moving into Pisces is kind of like bringing that full circle and saying like, see, this is really powerful stuff. Now, working with Jupiter is kind of a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, Jupiter is going to expand all the beautiful things of Pisces, right? So like the ability to be sensitive, psychic, feel things, follow your soul's inclinations, do that magical alchemy that comes from being really in alignment, being connected to like the mothering God, mothering universe, however you want to talk about that, and then having things happen in the physical from that space. The other side of it is, though, that it can also expand shadow parts of Piscean energy and parts of yourself that maybe you're uncomfortable with, or that you that challenge you about being a Pisces, right? Like feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you just want to kind of like drown out everything. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. It's just I also find that when Jupiter's in your sign, it's kind of like a big spotlight on you, where it's like suddenly things are expanding and moving really fast, and it can feel intense. So just make sure you're resting enough and giving yourself some honor and some recharge time in the midst of Jupiter moving through your sign over the next few months. As we get used to that, I'm going to be doing a big chat about Jupiter and Pisces. This specific little transit we're about to have, is Jupiter will also be going retrograde for a good chunk of that time in Pisces, and it's just going to be a very powerful, magical time. So I'm really excited about that. But that's not the only thing that's happening this month, my friends, because it's also Mercury moves into Gemini early on in the month and then sets up. There's going to be all the pre-shadow and then goes retro on the 29th, the very end of the month. So we're getting ready for a Mercury retrograde, great time of review. And then it's eclipse season as well. So we have a full moon and lunar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 26th, fellow mutable sign for you all. So this is going to be 10th house energy of who you want to be in this world. So it's a powerful time. It's a busy month. There's a lot going on with the energies. There's a lot of conversations happening. And so what message came through for me as I start to shuffle these cards? It's an interesting message for Pisces, and the messages that have been coming through in May for me, they're all like getting back to basics, like really simple messages. And this one was, there is no there. So what is here? That was the question that came up. Take it as you will, but I think, you know, my point was, even the most practiced of us that have learned to relax into the present moment and trust ourselves in the present moment as we are now, and to accept things as they are now, and to breathe through that so that we relax enough to welcome in the next breath and the next thing and the next wave, right? It still is such a draw to look to the there, the over there, as the indicator of how okay we are. Is the there coming here? Is the there going to make us okay? Is that goal? Is that person? Is that change in weather? Is that change in politics? Is that change in Knight of Swords or Knight of Wands? Wow, bold energy right out of the gate. Is that going to make me feel better? You know, if I just keep my eye on the prize, right? Like, there is very seductive, I would say. And like I said, I've been here many times, as has everyone, I think, except for maybe the rare exception. And it's so easy to get lost in the search for the there. And that's part of what I think I'm talking about when I talk about like native Piscean energy. To me, is because it's about timelessness. Right? It's about something so beyond time and form and structure. Two of Swords. It can only be about being here. And when we allow ourselves to be here, we realize that we're enough. But the there always makes us feel as though it's not enough to just be here, right? There's a cultural voice that says, being here now is not enough. That is not going to keep you safe. That is not going to be the thing. Seven of Cups. My goodness. Very dreamy energy there. I kind of love the Seven of Cups. We'll talk about it. There is that. That's what often I think stops a lot of us. And Five of Cups. All right, Pisces. Yeah, we're going to be swimming in some waters behind the scenes here today. I would also say that about all the energy moving into Gemini this month for you, and the Mercury retrograde in Gemini, the way it relates to you is that this is very internal energy, self-mothering energy, like your hidden personal realm. It's not about the exterior. It's not about you accomplishing everything. The full moon eclipse is going to do a little of that, but generally speaking, this month is going to be about your empowerment from within, your self-mothering from within. And the point being that we often are told culturally, and it's very subtle. It's in marketing. It's in advertising. It's in watching movies that give us the story of this character who has an arc, a beginning, end, and all of that. It's very subtle ways of telling us that being here now is just clearly not enough, and we need to be striving for more and more and more. And you know, it's fun. It's fun to play the game of life and to strive for things and have goals and ideas. However, it's important that we allow ourselves to be here and not feel bad about that. I think that's just such an important thing. And I think that's what's coming up for me. Regardless of all this other stuff going on, are you allowing your beautiful Piscean self to just be here and not worry about the there that you don't even really want? And I would also say that about this month. This month is going to have us question, every single one of us, no matter what sign or whatever, is the there that you're looking at, is it something you really want? Is it? For some of you, yeah, it probably will be. For some of us, parts of it will, parts of it won't, right? Okay, let's talk about this, because right away we start with Knight of Wands. Now, of course, this could be, I've had some experience with some Knight of Wands in my life. And, you know, to me, if this is somebody else about somebody else, these are like flames of inspiration that can come through our lives. So they can be friends who are very quick moving. It can be little spontaneous flings or people that you have a crush on. It can be a teacher or a book or an idea that floats through your life and lights you up and gets you moving. I think also, though, this really represents, Pisces, the adventurous side of yourselves, which is such a huge part of Piscean energy. I feel like it's the adventure, it's the play, it's the exploration. And Jupiter in Pisces definitely has this energy where you just dive in and you see what happens. You don't worry about like if you're going to do it forever, or if it's part of a 10-year plan, or if it's going to make sense 10 years down the road. Now, of course, the shadow side of that, sometimes, you can crash and burn, but this is exciting energy. This is very playful energy. And so there's just this already, it's like, just try it, just play, make the prototypes of the art, make the prototypes of the website, see what happens if you go to that new class, see what happens if you try something new, There's just a playfulness there that says, if you feel an urge when you're in that relaxed state of being here now, right, and you're not forcing yourself to be in theirs that don't feel good to you, what starts to float up to you? What urges, what impulses just start to take you on that journey? And also, what energies suddenly start to come meet you? Because it's kind of magical how that happens. Now, like I said, there's a lot of magic in the behind the scenes for Pisces. And I mean that in the best way, because to me, this is really where the good stuff is. There is a reflection going on. There is an internal searching. It's almost like when I see this Two of Swords, I almost see like a character who is in a trance or in a deep meditation, right? And they're not moving in the world anymore, and they're going to this other field of thought and ideas, right? Seven of Cups. And exploring, moving around the different rooms of the mind, moving around the different chalices of being, moving around the different energetic qualities of different emotional states, different pathways, kind of playing around in the larger field of possibility. And I think, when I think about Seven of Cups and doing the work of Seven of Cups, and for me, it's this Two of Swords is saying, slow down, stop trying to do everything, stop trying to micromanage everything, and just let yourself do this work. The trick of it is you're going to pick up some cups that don't taste very good. And that's what's so beautiful about getting to play in this field, because it allows you to test things out and see how they feel, see how it makes your body feel, see how it feels. Is it in integrity with you? Does it feel like something that's reflecting who you really are? Does it feel icky? Does it feel like nail scratching on a chalkboard when you drink from the cup? This is a time to play with that and notice which cups you truly want to pick up, and you're just going to want to focus on those cups you truly want to pick up, and you can let the rest go. So there's this really powerful, almost dreaming, meditative practice that's coming up for me that is showing me that this is the way that you are going to be doing so much in life. So trust it. Now we do have this Five of Cups, and this is really interesting because this is a card of transition. That's what I would say about it, which I think is why sometimes it can look a little intimidating, because I think a lot of us don't really like transitions in life that much. It's uncomfortable, scary goodbyes, the closeout of your favorite TV show, shifting gears from like relax mode to work mode. There's a lot of these like transitional spaces that are a little uncomfortable as you kind of like try and get your energy in different places. And Five of Cups is the transitional phase between a cycle of deep grieving and a cycle of new seeking. And it's the meeting point of those two waters, which it feels strange because on the one hand, you might still have grief in your body. You might still have grief from this last year of tension and stress and collective stress, because that's the other thing with Pisces. You all are very sensitive to the collective and can feel. So even if you are taking really good care of yourself, taking really good care of your thoughts, living a life in a way that feels really supportive of you and not being in stressful environments, if the collective is feeling a ton of stress and strife and fear and worry, it is going to affect you probably. So even if you aren't in a position where you're having specific grief, which you very well might, and if you do, my heart is with you. Grief is almost guaranteed in this life. whatever your form of grief is, it can feel strange when you're in that place where you're feeling the grief still. You can feel it in your body. You can feel it moving through. You can feel yourself exploring the shapes of it. And you can also feel this desire to see what's next. Desire to open up the next chapter. The desire to explore and play and have fun again. And it's interesting for me because what I see with these cards and this conversation is there's this meeting place between the warm and the cool waters. And it's about the closeout of some grief and the beginning of some new adventures. And what do you want that to look like? And kind of playing with the contrast, like I said, with the Seven of Cups, which chalice do you want to pick up? Which tastes good? Which tastes like manna from heaven? And what tastes like poison? Right? What feels good to your soul, follow it. And it's interesting. I think this kind of work and the way that it's coming through, you kind of have to work as a translator of your soul, because we're translating these visions, these energies into the physical, and it's not a direct translation. There's not just a nice tidy dictionary. It's something like learning a language where we have to figure out what's being nudged and pulled and how we're going to translate that into the physical. And you're being asked to master that skill at a whole new level is basically what's going on here. And part of that is going to be play. Part of that is going to be resting more. Part of that is going to be daydreaming more. And that doesn't preclude you moving through the world. It doesn't preclude you doing a lot of powerful things. I think there's a false dichotomy. If I say, oh, rest a lot, dream a lot, that means you're just going to be laying on the couch bored. If you give yourself requisite rest, if you give yourself the space to dream, the times when you're not doing that are going to be very busy, very powerful, chock full of things happening, you moving and seeing and experiencing through the world. It's actually paradoxically when we keep ourselves busy all the time that we feel like we're getting nowhere and we're just on a treadmill. And so it's a finding that perfect balance point. Powerful energy here though, you all. You're working with a lot of powerful water energy. Just remember to play and have fun though along with that. Okay. I could go on. I'm trying my best to just be really present in these chats and just see what comes up and not to feel like I'm forcing myself or forcing a message, seeing what happens. But I would love to see you over on Patreon. Like I said, we're going to be doing the Jupiter moving into Pisces. So exciting. The Mercury retrograde, we're going to be activating those eclipses, the lunar eclipse and then the solar eclipse that we will be having in June. We are going to be doing all sorts of fun things over there. It's a great way to support me and a great way for me to support you more. So I'd love to see you there. You can find me on Instagram, my website, all the good places. I will leave those links below. I'm sending you all so much love. Have a beautiful beginning to May, and I will talk to you all very soon for June readings. I love you, Pisces.